Good evening.
Good evening.
Evening, Rich.
How's everyone doing?
Good evening.
Lekker, man.
Mooi man.
Nancy.
Hello, Saul.
Mr. Anniversary.
Yes, sir. Tante Aguri. Happy anniversary, Saul.
Tante Auguri, is that Italian?
Yeah.
Very nice.
But then we also kiss and do all those things. So can't do that.
Glad we're on the Zoom now.
Yeah. Yeah.
How's everybody doing?
Excellent.
Hello, Cecil.
Sien die manne kom nou in. Fernando, Rian, Jane, Wayne, Theo. Great stuff. Yeah, I think before the summit we can have maybe a little bit less people on tonight.
Are they walking from Cape Town and doing those sort of things to get to the summit?
I think the Cape Townians are all busy flying or busy preparing.
Yeah, busy preparing, yeah. I think my brother said he's flying tomorrow, so yeah.
I haven't.
No excuse. I came from Iraq. No excuse.
Are you really in South Africa?
Yes, I landed 4 o'clock this morning.
Wow.
Oh, welcome to civilization, man.
Thank you. Quite a experience to be back in civilization, man.
I can imagine. Yeah, dodge for rockets. You just have to dodge for potholes. Something.
True. Very true. Potholes and taxis.
Yeah. I'll take a taxi.
There's too many potholes.
It's a good one.
Don't forget about the demonstrations and burning tires.
Oh, yeah. It's easier to dodge rockets, though. Right, I think everybody's on.
Good.
Rich, you want to take it away for us?
Yes, sure. Yeah. Right. So as I mentioned last week, this one's going to be a little bit different. I don't have any slides tonight, so that'll be the first start, and you'll understand that that's different. So, you know, this session tonight is all about passion. But I don't want to go over what Michelle has told you already, because purpose and passion it's very close. So if you would listen to Michelle's video from the IDC, then you will know that you'll be able to find your purpose, your passion that way. And one thing I can tell you about passion is if you ask people what they're passionate about, more often than not, they'll tell you that they're passionate about helping other people. So that tells you something about passion and what we do. And I want to say to you that I am extremely passionate about doing this mastermind series with you. And probably because I'm so passionate, I've blindsided myself, which means that I've blindsided you guys as well, or you missing out on an opportunity because I've blindsided myself. So what I want to do is tell you a little story, and then we're going to do something different. When I was still in consulting, I remember, you know, in the consultant is you paid to give people advice that they don't want to hear, and they don't take your advice, and, you know, it's a whole lot of BS anyway. The thicker your report, the more they pay you, hana. But in one of my sessions, because you think you always have to speak, one of the ladies in tea break came to me and she said, you know, you're very certain, and your certainty does not allow people to give their opinion, or those who are a little bit less certain, they can't express themselves. And that I was reminded of that in this last week. So I firstly want to apologize to each and every one of you, because I feel I have been hogging the airspace, maybe being too certain, maybe giving my opinions of the topics that we've discussed, instead of allowing you to to be a mastermind group where you can share your ideas. So I must apologize humbly for hogging the space, but not only hogging the space, not allowing you to come up with your own ideas. And what made me realize this was that over the weeks, if you were at the first success meeting, you would notice that there was a lot of feedback in that first meeting. And as the weeks went by, we had less and less feedback. And that's what it sort of told me I must be doing something wrong, because whatever we're doing is causing us to get less feedback from you guys. And it's you guys, it's your mastermind group, it's not mine. And we all need to learn like that. So with that in mind, we're going to have a discussion. And this, if we need to make the mastermind 11 weeks, we will do. This is week number 5. And what I want you to share is what you have learned. And also, I want you to think about why I am doing what I'm doing tonight. And I'm giving you the chance to express your ideas, because my ideas are not what is important here. And I want you to think about that in the context of learning, because we're all going to be educators. And how does that affect the education process? How does that affect the interaction with you and your prospects and your team? So that's the feedback that I'm looking for tonight from you, so that we can learn from each other. What have we learned, and why am I doing this evening? Because there's a very specific reason. Before I open the floor, I just want to read one thing to you. Passion is not a job, a sport, or a hobby. It is the full force of your attention and energy that you give to whatever is right in front of you. If you're so busy looking for your passion, you could miss the opportunities that will change your life. Did you all get that? Great. Thank you, Rian. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Christian. And Jabir. And Ian. Those are the people who've got their videos on, and I saw some acknowledgement there. So thank you. Right, so that's me. I'm stopping talking now. Let's have your feedback.
Something that struck me from this whole series is introspection and finding out what your purpose is really taking some energy. It's training. It's taking being so honest with yourself and really thinking about these things. That it's exhausting. It's necessary. No, don't get me wrong. That it's something. It's a very nice job, giving you energy as well. But to start with it and be that loosely with yourself, because typically what you do is you keep yourself preoccupied with other stuff, not to think about these things. Now you're forced to think about. That's my 2 cents.
Great. Thank you. Rian.
Unmute myself, yeah. And put the hand down. Okay. Am I in? Am I on? Okay.
Yes, you are.
You said we were quiet, but this has changed my life because there's just something that I was reading up and getting so excited about this whole seminar of yours. I can't miss one day. So what I've learned is, and I wrote it down, is success is not a big step in the future. It's a small step taken right now. And you do it, you eat the elephant happy for happy, you eet hom bietjie. And if you don't believe in yourself and you don't see yourself as successful through God, because we know the right things, but we don't actually live it. And that was my thing. I knew all the things, but if I get negative feedback or negative criticism, then I felt back and I thought, yes, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I can't. And that negative mindset to change it to the positive and say, I don't need to do anything. I'm already a success, not because of money, but because of the process and because I'm a son of God. And that triggered me that why can't we be negative then? Because if you take a step, then you are going to go somewhere and you're going forward. If you don't take a step, you're going to stand still. So this, I think for me, MyWealth and this journey, it's not about the money. I think that's what people don't see. What I see is development of myself. And I can't wait for this webinar, this whole thing in Hartbeespoort to happen, to meet all you guys, and just it's so nice to have people invest and want you to improve yourself. So I'll speak the whole night. It's thank you. No, it's you need to believe in yourself. How can I be a leader if I'm not if I don't believe in myself? And I'm a lot more assertive, and I don't doubt myself that much anymore. So thanks. This has changed me. So.
Great stuff. Sorry, Lizelle had her hand up. I lowered it. So if you can just unmute yourself, Lizelle.
Kalk, I was not aware that I have my hand up.
Okay, sorry.
Apologies for that. But hello, guys. It's awesome to be here the night before the event. So, yes, I think passion keeps us here. I think that's the reason why we're all still here tonight. It's not just because it's easy and we always have the time, but we make the time and we commit, and therefore passion shines through. So thanks to all of you who still perseveres, and I look forward to see you tomorrow.
Yes, thank you, Lizelle.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
I just want to say I'm not scared of silence. So silence, I can deal with silence for a very long time. And I believe that in that saying that nature fills the vacuum. So we'll keep quiet until such time as someone does speak.
Okay,
Hello,
Axel Ichisi.
Okay.
I don't think it's about not giving feedback. It's about all the good information we get that we have to process and understand and actually reflect on it before we can give feedback. That's just how I feel.
Okay, so I agree with you 100%, and it's difficult to give feedback at the end of the evening. So that's why I've chosen this session, because we're looking at now what we've learned in the last 4 weeks. So now's your time to give the feedback about the last 4 weeks. So we're not, it's not like I've just dumped something on you and asked you to think about it. What has happened in the last 4 weeks? Tell us about your journey.
Well, it changes. This is changing my way of approaching what I do daily to achieve my goals. It's definitely influencing it positively, especially the books that I started reading. So yeah, that is a really positive influence.
Okay, great. What books did you start reading, Theo?
quick on me. The one with the short pieces, I started with that one first.
The enemy called average, that one.
That one, yeah. So yeah, that is just short inputs that just gives me a positive feedback and a positive look on how to approach things in the future.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Thea.
That's it. Thank you.
Jabir, you wanted to say something there.
Yes, Rich, thanks, man. I just wanted to say is your journey never ends, and I think you can never stop learning. So for me, being on all these calls and learning about finances, because finances is a big thing for me and my family. We've been teaching it for quite a while, and we've seen that debt can kill and can hurt a lot of families. And to just by teaching yourself and changing your mindset and finding out what you want to do in life, so you don't fall into the trap of getting into debt and all these kind of stuff. To help people to get out of that mindset is, for me, it's never never ending. So I can never stop learning about finances to educate other people. And so yeah, that's for me. That's why I'm here, and that's why I'm here every week.
So how's this changed you so far, Jabir? Other than what you've just said, but you personally, what has it done for you personally?
Well, it obviously gave me more confidence. It's giving me a chance to step up, take responsibility of what I've, by the choices I've made previously, and opening up to that to show other people that they're not alone. We all got struggles. We all got different struggles, but when we talk about our struggles, other people can learn. And maybe there's something that you say that can make them open up and make different choices as well.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Jabir.
All right.
Cecil, and then Hugo.
Hi, Rich. Yes, first of all, again, thank you very much for this course. I think this webinar is really a positive thing to help us grow financial maturity. The one thing that I've learned through the webinar, and just to add to your bad thoughts, is that not to be scared of growing. And it sounds funny, but we can't grow if we don't go out of our comfort zone. And the thing that I also picked up, if it's comfortable, we won't grow. So we must be honest enough to look at ourselves and see, where am I not, where do I lack? And if I lack, then I need to be honest about it, and then I can actually do something about it if I realize something needs to change. And we must actually look for a place to change, because if we don't change, we won't grow. So that was a very interesting thing for me. The other thing also, Rich, what I want to say is that I felt a little bit guilty in the beginning, because I want to make a lot of money. And the one thing that was interesting, you also said not to limit yourself. You or Skulk or somebody said that not to limit yourself and say, I want $1 million. But to say, it's actually not about the money. So I'll be honest, I felt a bit guilty, maybe because I grew up in a very conservative house. But over the years, I realized If I want to do things I want to do and travel the world like you're there, I need money. So I want to be comfortable. I want my family to be happy. I want them to be comfortable. And if I got enough, then I can help other people. And I actually asked Shaul the one day when I saw him, what do you do? I mean, if the money becomes so much, and he says, then you start sowing, and I'll never forget it. And as the course progressed with his first few years, first few weeks, first few years, is that you also said, and I think Skalk also patched it in last week, is that when there's enough money, we won't worry about it anymore. Then we're in a position to start helping other people, number one, and then also to actually live our purpose. Then we can actually help people or try and motivate, inspire other people, not always in a financial way, but then we don't have to worry about financial because we want to go for financial freedom before we can actually live our passion. That was, and it actually was like a immediate click in my head where I didn't felt guilty anymore. So that was a growth for me in this past few weeks.
Thanks, Hugo. Yeah, that's so important. I think we've been sort of conditioned to think that having money is wrong. But no, we need money so that we can make a difference. We're never going to make a difference if we haven't got the right kind of money, because then we'll always think that we don't have enough. That's when we've got a lot and that we can do a lot. And that's the difference. Cecil.
Thank you very much, Rich. Good night, good evening to everybody. One of the big things I realized as we were going through this is you can never be, there's no such thing as being stagnant. You're either going forwards or you're going backwards. There's no such thing as standing still. Some people think, no, you're standing still and so on, but really you're going backwards. If you're not going forwards, you're going backwards. And the other thing that I realized is, once again, is I'm responsible for my own well-being and for my thoughts and my actions and everything I do in life. I'm responsible. I can't blame anything on anybody. I can't blame somebody for making me upset and it upsetting my whole day and getting nothing done, because I chose to get upset instead of just not getting upset and letting things go and carry on with my life. The other thing I've been talking to a couple of people about is the fact that this life, we are all given exactly the same amount of time. Exactly the same amount of time. Each one of us is given that time exactly the same. What we do with that time will determine where we are going. So you can choose what you do with your time, whether you're going to use it constructively, whether you're going to use it to go and play golf, or whether you're going to use it to go and lie on the beach for a month or whatever. It's your choice. So whatever you do in life, it's your choice. And it's also, we're not running a sprint race here. We're not running 100 meters or 200 meter or a 400 meter dash. We are actually involved in a hurdles race. And you got to run the race one hurdle at a time. And that's how you get to where you want to get, is you need to find out what your first hurdle is that you've got to overcome, and then do that, and then the second, and then the third, and so you carry on a daily basis. But you need to plan, you need to write it down, you need to ensure that you are in charge of what you are doing mentally and physically at all times. You cannot sit back and say it's not for me, or I don't have to write things down, I remember well, or whatever. The one thing I know without a doubt is if you don't write it down, it's a dream. It's no longer, it's not a goal. It's just a dream. You're just hoping it'll happen. So, and those are the things that's got to me. I missed last week's, unfortunately. And I know that it was on listening, and Son and I did speak to you about it before. You can either listen to hear, or you can listen to answer. And when we speak to people, we need to listen to hear, so that we understand what their problems are. And if we don't, then you're not taking in the right information. How can you give somebody advice if you're not aware of what they actually need? So, yeah, and as you said earlier on, silence is when you've given something to somebody, keep quiet and wait for them to respond, because then you know what they're thinking about. It could be the most uncomfortable silence in the world to sit there and wait for 5 or 10 minutes when you're speaking to a person one-on-one. But we need to learn to do that, because when that person answers you, then you know what they're thinking about, and so you know how to answer them regarding their questions and their queries. And those are just the things that I've found and that I'm working on at the moment.
Thank you, Cecil. I think it's so important that hurdle analogy that you've used there. And I think that we have to be worried if we can't see the next hurdle, because we should always have a hurdle that we need to get over. And just coming to something I thought of, that you said about listening. When we share this opportunity, or any opportunity, or share about ourselves, we've always got to ask ourselves, are we still selling the idea to ourselves, or do we actually, as Rian mentioned earlier, do we believe? Because listen to how you tell people about whatever you're trying to tell them about. So if you're trying to tell them about MyWealth, for instance, are you still selling this to yourself? If they listen to you, would they actually know that you believe in MyWealth? Or are you still trying to convince yourself that this is for you? Those are the important things. When you talk, listen to what you say and how you say it. In another network company, they call it posture. You need to get the posture, and that posture comes from when you actually believe in you and your success and what you can accomplish. You haven't accomplished it yet, so that is not what people are looking for. But are you trying to sell it to them, the idea, or are you trying to sell it to yourself? Because that defines a lot about you and your success. So when you meet a successful person, they do not tell you about how much money they've got. They as it was mentioned earlier, they find an opportunity to help you because the focus isn't on them. So have a look when you communicate with people, what are you actually saying? And you should always be aware of what you're saying and ask yourself, are you still selling this opportunity to yourself? Because you can be very passionate about something, but you haven't believed it. You're very passionate about it. That's for sure. But you might miss the real opportunity because you're still trying to find your passion in this thing. So just a side note there. Thanks. Stephen, over to you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Stephen.
Yeah, it's for me, I've entered the world of leadership I think, I needed to enter the world of leadership in about 2015. And the company I was then working for sent us on leadership courses, but leadership courses that they endorsed and they chose. And as I grew in the leadership courses, I realized that something that I fear the most is not the fear of failure, most probably the fear of success. Because if you do succeed very well in this, in say the traditional corporate type world, then they just throw more at you because you are good and successful, and they just keep throwing more at you. So I was very hesitant to become successful in the corporate world. And then later on in life, I started working with voluntary organizations, especially in the special needs arena with kids. And I found a different passion. I found people becoming successful with what they're doing, with a passion and a zest for life, because they are finding something they believe in. They believe in working with special needs kids. They believe in doing things, and this is their passion, and doesn't matter how much money they earn, doesn't matter what the income is, it works well. And when I started getting involved in giving away wheelchairs and getting into mobility, I started saying, I'm becoming more successful in this, and I wasn't fearing the fact of success. And when MyWealth came across my path, and I met some of the people again that I crossed paths with many years ago, and realized that, here's something, the heart and the story that I want to start telling as I go forward, and something that I believe in, and finding value with whatever people want to do is coming closer and closer together. And especially in the first two sessions of this journey, of this particular Wednesday journeys, I found very meaningful in the sense that it's drawing this closer together. But the vision and the passion that I'm experiencing with all of you guys and the colleagues and all the MyWealth people is the marriage coming together. So my fear of success is becoming less of a fear, and the desire to become successful and the passion to become successful is much clearer. And I find listening to these sessions, bringing my heart and the vision together, and the mind and Christianity and all that, for me is a good thing. And I've always, in the corporate world, they split it, they keep it apart. But I'm no longer in the corporate world. I walked away from that because I just couldn't handle it, because my heart was now growing too old for that, and I wanted to go forward. So yeah, I think a lot and reflect on what has happened, and interesting points that come out all the time that I enjoy. But that's just my sharing of a different perspective on success. So, but yeah, thanks very much.
Stephen, thank you. Yeah, I mean, what you mentioned there about the fear of success is very interesting. Would you say we should fear success?
I don't think we must fear success, but when success becomes the burden in the corporate world, so you're doing good, your reports are good, oh, here's a guy, he's a dynamic guy, let's give it to him. Busy people are always successful people in the corporate world. So now you start saying we must become successful, then that was now embedded in the back. And I had to change that thought process. I had to relieve that thought process, because I was married, I had a husband, I have been a husband, still a husband, and all those sort of things. That's a different success. But the measurement of success is the corporate world. So in 2015, it dawned on me, wrong measurement. We need to change the measurement of success. But I think to become successful it may be important. And I don't think it is necessary success that you see around you. It's inside, your own success, what meets your heart. Maybe writing your own obituary, what you want to be one day, will reflect what success you want to achieve, in goals and things. That's an exercise I've done a few times, and then gone back and read what I've done before, and it's kind of interesting to see how it changes. But I think success will always be there for me, but not as a measurement, as a something from the heart, for me.
I just think of that, they say that, like, even in the, so you talk about the corporate, but you talk about the volunteer movement as well. And I mean, we all know that if we want something done, we ask the busy, successful person. We don't ask the person that's lazy, that's doing nothing. So, I mean, surely then, by that definition, you should still fear success, because people are going to notice you and they're going to ask you, they're going to require more from you. So how do you deal with that?
Yeah, that's where the fear of success came in the corporate. But so then, as you start networking and you start doing these things, you start taking on the responsibility of saying, I'm taking ownership of becoming a wealth coach now, is where we're heading for. And I want to be a very successful wealth coach. And to become a very successful wealth coach, without sticking to coaching, not the advisory side, you take on the responsibility, and people start respecting that, and people start looking up to you, and that's a different form of success now. So now, a different fear comes in. So we've got to overcome that fear, and we've got to say, number one, as you mentioned, do I believe what I'm doing? And there's a nice video clip from Simon Sinek about the why, how, what thing, and it makes sense, so you get your why. You don't sell the business. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm putting together. This is what I'm achieving. This is my wealth coach, and this is the journey that I'm going on. And to become a successful wealth coach, I think, is in my cards. I will get it right, and we will do it together with MyWealth. And empowering MyWealth, I think, is a good thing. But to get back to your original question, I think we will be successful. I've now lost my train of thought totally. So
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Stephen. I think it's valuable, because that fear of success is something that's very real with a lot of. But thank you. That's great. Willem, I see you've got your hand up.
Yes. This has been quite an interesting journey for me. I've been working for a big engineering company in the IT side of things, and it's been just for the past 10 years, it's just been very hectic, constant, busy, and almost dreams and stuff that I had has been put on the shelf. And then suddenly I got introduced to MyWealth, and I'm sitting here, I'm still a little bit gobsmacked, as the English would say, just in terms of the opportunities that lies ahead of me, because suddenly there's another option on the table. I don't have to sit in the same job till age 65. My children are still young. I can potentially spend a lot more time with them and so on. But now the thing is, what do I do with that time? How do I use that in the best way? And especially all the things about finding out who you are, what you've been called to do, and so on. I'm really delving deep into that because for so long it's just been put on the shelf and saying, "Oh, I'll get to that one day maybe," just because my work is so demanding at this point. So I'm feeling I'm being stretched, and I'm need to do a lot of work in terms of figuring things out. But on the other side, I'm also just very excited and blessed with the opportunity that's ahead.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Just a comment just on what you shared also in terms of talking to people, whether you believe what you do. So I'm learning more, but what I found interesting in sharing with some people, you very often get the comment, but it sounds too good to be true. And I'm like, well, then do your own homework and come and see. But it's just interesting. You pick that up from a lot of people that actually would need the opportunity, and they say, nah, they don't think it's worthwhile.
Yeah. Remember that, as Stephen mentioned, the fear of success can be very different for different people, because never mind the workload that's going to come with the success, but just success itself is feared by many people. And often, because of the lack mentality, they are affected by that fear of success. They don't believe that they actually entitled or could ever be successful or could ever be wealthy for that matter, because it doesn't seem like, it doesn't fit with them because they've never heard that before. So sometimes too good to be true is just because they're trying to be risk averse, but other times it's actually an excuse because they actually don't want to embrace the journey that, because as we are finding out here, there's a journey to success. We have the abilities within us, it's all there, but we have to journey and discover that and unlock what is already inside us. And many people just fear that. That's their fear. They don't want to actually find out who they are. And it's up to us to try and encourage people to sort of show them the cracks where the light can come in, because some people don't even know about the cracks. So yeah, that's where we need to help people, really. And it's overcoming that fear.
Yeah, definitely. And just kudos to the whole MyWealth leadership in terms of how they approach this whole thing, and in terms of a total holistic approach, not just the financial side, but also the training. I think that is really amazing.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Willem.
Hello, Rich. Fernando here.
Hello, Fernando.
Yeah, in my case, I can understand what people have been saying, because I also come from the corporate world and in the management. And our measurement of success in the corporate world, and that's personally what I found, what was my measurement of success in the last couple of weeks, attending all the training with you and with Dr. Michelle, has opened up so many open-ended questions that it's difficult to answer them. So to comment, it's difficult. So in my case, I'm sort of waiting to see the entire course. Hopefully, if I can put it this way, that somewhere along the line, in the next couple of weeks, I will find the answers to close the open-ended questions. Because a lot of the questions I don't have answers for. And I'm looking for answers. So that can also lead to a lot of silence with people. That is what's happening with me in my case.
Yeah. Well, Fernando, what I can tell you is that the material that we share with you is not going to give you the answers, but hopefully it will help you unlock the answers within yourself, because that's typically what we're trying to do here. So, I love what you've said, because I think that's the reality for many people. How are we going to find the answers? And I think it's through interaction that we're going to find those answers. And that's why I felt it so strongly on my spirit to make sure that we have more sharing like this, because we're not going to learn unless we can learn from each other. So thank you for that.
Well, thanks to you guys. You and Dr. Michelle have literally turned everything upside down. What I thought was a standard is it's not a standard at all. And I've been with MyWealth now for a year, almost 2 years, and a lot of education, a lot of learning. And you realize that there's still a lot more to go. Every time you attend a different course, something else sort of jumbles your brain a little bit.
Yeah. Excellent. Thanks, Fernando. Paula.
Hi, Rich. Hope you're well.
Thank you.
Yeah, the thing for me has been the soul searching and really determining who I am, but also with the realization that I actually am enough. because I have everything already within me. And I think it's accepting that. That's the biggest thing, because I never feel that I'm enough. And I've often suffered from a thing of not feeling worthy enough and things like that. So yeah, this has actually kind of just brought it right up in my face again, and the realization that I need to work with this and accept that I do have all the answers, and I have it already within me. That's quite profound.
Yes, I think just talking about the answers, there's actually no, if you ask a question, there's always an answer, and it's closer than you think. So, and that's another reason why that I'm really going to encourage the interaction on these sessions, because without talking, we don't realize that. Without interacting, we always think that it's like, when do you become enough? Well, you are enough already. But if no one gives you an opportunity to talk, well, then you will believe that you're not enough. So that was pushed into me to say so strongly, and I realized we have to share and we have to learn from each other. The idea that one person's going to have all the answers or something like that is just totally wrong. So, but thank you.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
what I'm so encouraged by this evening is what people are sharing, because it's the answers and it's not necessarily the answers, but it's the direction that we need to discover.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Rich. I really appreciate this course.
Pleasure, Paula. Thank you. Hugo.
Hi, Rich again. I also just want to add to these thoughts about the questions. Sometimes we, as you said, we're already enough, we're already good enough, and we must accept it. But if the question comes up, we shouldn't feel nervous about it and feel, our world is because there will always be questions. It's actually a very good thing if the questions comes up. We must ask the questions and just leave it then, because it will. But we mustn't stop asking it, but we mustn't worry about it as well, because the answer is in ourselves, and it will come out as we share and as we talk to each other. The answer will come about, but we mustn't overthink the fact that we don't have the answer. Think about the question, ask the question, talk to each other, but know that you are not alone in those questions, because all of us are looking for the answers. It's just that sometimes we overthink it, and then and it's a good thing, because if we don't have the questions and if it's not uncomfortable, then we can't grow. So it's a good thing, because it shows that the growing is taking place.
That's right. Yeah, and your biggest friend is the person who asks the questions. But we're so inclined to think we need to have the answers, so we don't ask the questions because we think we're going to figure it out for ourselves. Meanwhile, we just need someone to ask the questions because we're too scared to ask the questions. So that's what we need to do: ask questions. And even if we think we know the answer, the trouble is we know our answer. We don't know the actual answer, because everyone will have a different perspective. But when we ask the question, suddenly a new perspective comes for someone else. And that's where the advantage is. So we might think we're asking a question that we know 80% of the answer. But what about the other 20% that we don't know? And what about the 80% that the other people don't know? And that's where it helps. So yeah, it's all about the questions.
Hi, Rich, can I talk?
Yes, of course, Len. Thank you.
Okay, I remember listening to some recordings of I forget the guy's name now, Jim Rohn, where he was saying that for things to change in your life, you have to change. And if you want your life to get better, you have to get better. And when I came into MyWealth towards the end of last year, I thought I was just going to find out about a business that will teach us how to make money. And I realized that through this process, it's going to be much more. I'm going to learn about myself, and I'm actually going to embark on this journey of improving myself. And I think through all these courses and things we're attending, we are kind of forced or encouraged to look at ourselves and to question ourselves. And it forces you to go and look for answers. And in that process, you will get better. And that's the way my life will get better, is by me getting better. So yes, that's what I've basically got out of this. You guys are steering us in a direction and encouraging us to ask the kind of questions which you won't just ask if you weren't prompted. So yeah, that's my input.
Yes, so no one forces you but yourself, because you know that you can achieve something. And so you then, because now you've suddenly seen that picture, you can force yourself. Thank you.
Yes, I didn't quite mean force, but yeah. Encouraged, because on your own, you're not aware of these things. Yeah.
Yeah, but I like simple words. So force is good, you know. It's you force yourself to do something because you know it's going to make you better. Your future self's going to thank you for it. It's not going to thank you for being lazy, that's for sure.
Well, if you can force me to get better, you can do all the forcing you like.
Well, we try, you see, that's the whole idea. By asking the questions, that's what generally, if we find that we don't have the answers, then as Cecil mentioned, then we realize there's a hurdle. And if there's a hurdle, then we must be happy, and because there's something to get over. And we've got to find the answers to get over that hurdle. So it's, you know, that's the process, really. And we can only be happy if we've got that process in our lives. So thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Rion.
I just want to add, Rich. You see, what happened in this course is you guys is rocking our boats, because I think a lot of us, and including me, I was in retail for 20 years. You just go like that other guy mentioned, in the motions, and life passes you by. And I'm turning 40 this year. I still look, I think, young, but you can just see actually how much time has not wasted, but you could have made such a difference if you were in the right space or in the right passion that you want to do. I think that's the problem with us as human beings. We just go with the flow, and you don't know that you actually, life is passing you by. And that's what I've learned is success is now, and success is what you make of your life, and what you do to make others better. And that's what and develop other people. And that's what I like about what you and Charles are saying. It's not about what we can gain, and you guys are putting effort into us. You don't have to do it. And that's what's making me positive, and wanting to grow, and wanting to use the time that I have left on earth to use it appropriately. So yeah.
Right. Thanks, Rion. Ian, you've got your hand up there.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Yeah, this is very interesting listening to all the comments, and yeah, I've only been sort of exposed to MyWealth since about January this year. Listening to some of the members have been 2 years in it, so yeah, I've got a lot of hurdles to cross and a lot of learning to do. We currently running our own family-owned small business. We're in the process of winding down and still got lots of hurdles to cross over. But yeah, we hopefully by the end of this year will have finished that chapter of our lives, and then sort of I'm looking forward to the whole MyWealth journey, because you can't sit back and do nothing. So I'm preparing myself for a new sort of career and a great learning curve in this MyWealth experience. That's all from there.
Fantastic. Well done, Ian. Thank you. Someone's bird's talking.
My bird, you.
Is it yours, Fernando?
Yes, it was. Sorry.
No, it's fine. If no one else wants to talk, the bird does. I don't know if Doc Ant or Skulk would like to say anything to end off the evening, because I'm sure that we've opened a lot of thinking now.
Okay, Rich, I think it's for Skulk to close off the evening, so but just my ad here. Number one, the privilege to be led by a mentor coach that has got the experience and has been successful is always a plus one. The fact that you tonight made time for people to ask questions and also to share with what they've learned, for me, is a pivotal point in terms of people understanding that part of the learning experience on the journey is your interaction, because your growth happens when you literally share how you've grown personally. Of course, you can talk about other people's success, but the moment you make the step to say, I grew because I became more passionate about a new possible career. Our last speaker, Ian Holmes, just saying, at the end of this year, our lives will look differently. That is a paradigm shift in your mind in terms of a new channel passion that's going to take you, that could help thousands of other people. That's what the difference is. And why did that come to pass? Because of attending training and being present tonight to say, here I am. But I want to encourage the people who actually did not pluck up the courage tonight to speak. It's the actual taking the courage and speaking and voicing your passion or voicing your learning that takes you to the next level. 100%, the people who participate are the people who grow to the next level. That says you are passionate about what you do. Now, am I criticizing and saying that means that other people don't have passion? No. What I'm saying is you haven't made that link in your mind yet that participation could be the very step you require to grow to the next level. Therefore, I challenge all of our members for this to become a far more interactive session. Rich, my compliments to you tonight in terms of holding the silence. Brilliant. Because it takes good leadership to be comfortable with silence. But you've proven that tonight to say, I will wait until the people speak. Therefore, we had a very good example of a man with experience that knows, well, I'll just sit and wait, even if the birds have to speak to me. And that was actually quite funny. But the training and the point tonight was that for those who did speak, there's the learning. You have gone to the next level. And that is what this is really about. So my kudos to every single person who participated, because I could hear your growth just in the way that you're speaking. So here is my invite to the next time. Rich throws us open to say, let's have an interactive discussion. I would like to challenge every single person on this call to make that bold step, even if it's a short incision of a one sentence, because the moment you speak publicly and you declare it to a group of leaders, you've stepped into the arena of self-growth. And that is what I call self-driven passion. So all I can say is carpe diem, seize the day and make it count. Thank you from me.
Thanks, Doc.
Thank you, Doc. Yeah, no, that was a good, inspiring close off. He actually said everything I wanted to say. But one of the things that I've experienced here now, and this is one of my passions, is to see that we as a community will grow together. and go together on a journey that will be inspiring for everybody and will unlock the maximum potential for every person that is on this call. And this is what we have as MyWealth want to embark on, is to build community. That's one of the things that I believe that we've lost over the last generation, is where we've become so busy being performance driven and performance oriented to the point where we have run past each other and forgotten the human part of doing business and functioning in this world. And, you know, families have stayed behind in terms of priorities. And, you know, we've lost community. I think basically our country is falling apart because we as a community has failed to communicate and to engage with each other on, you know, on a scale that is much bigger than just me and my two friends. So we as a broader community will have to find each other again. And I think that the culture that we want to create within MyWealth is exactly one, you know, Doc Ant has spoken about, is that we have to engage. We have to start taking the step of courage to say, you know what, even if I have to shiver and my phone has to shiver like this, I'm going to do it. You know, I had to go through the same things. You know, public speaking is not a comfortable thing for everyone. But we have to take the step of faith and engage, because your own growth depends on it. So I want to encourage everyone who hasn't talked tonight to engage in the journey and become part of the process of building a community. We all have common problems in South Africa, in the world currently that we are facing, and you cannot solve them. You know, common problems among a generation or among a nation cannot be solved by individuals. It has to be solved by the community. And the problems that we want to solve are of a macro scale. And we're going to have to build a community from this nucleus that we are busy building right now, with about 60, 70, or up to 120 people, and start, you know, then circling it out up to the point where we've covered all bases and literally changed the world like this. So I want everybody who has attended tonight, next time, even if you have to say one sentence, get onto the call, engage, get part of the community, because everyone on this call is important. You are not less important than somebody else. Just because I'm talking now doesn't make me more important. You are all important. Everybody's purpose, everybody's passion, everybody's careers, everybody's taking their places are absolutely vital in this time of, you know, that we're living in. We have to take hands, build a community, and share our experiences, share our resources, share our vision, share the system with other people that still need to come in. The key word to unlock the whole ecosystem and a community will be to share. Let's not go and sell. Let's not go and look to market. Just go and share, because you're sharing off of your own self. You're sharing off of your own, out of your own heart, because you care. Sharing is caring. Excuse the pun, but I meant it.
Oh, thank you, Scott. Thank you.
We love you all.
Absolutely. We love you all. That's for sure. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for caring. And do enjoy your evening further. We will see you next week. For those of you who are attending the Leadership Summit, enjoy it. I will be thinking about you and missing you guys. So learn a lot, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. Also, Francois will be there. And if you haven't shared tonight, that might be a very good idea. Tell Francois your story on video when you're at the summit this weekend. Okay? Do that. That'll be fantastic, because it's going to inspire someone else. Your story will definitely inspire someone else. And he's there the whole weekend. So if you thought about something today, go share it with him. If there's something tomorrow, go share it again. Keep your story going, and it'll be a help for everyone and a legacy for the future. So thanks very much. Do enjoy it. Good night. Thank you.
Cheers, everybody.
James,
Cheers.
thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Sien julle môre.
Ja, sien julle.
Ons sien uit.
I've got to get to dinner, so please excuse me. Cheers. Okay.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
Sleep well.
Good night.
Bye.
Night, everyone.
Bye, Rich.